13 minutes past 8, Kimbra is back. The new album is called Golden Echo, and what a ride it's been, eh? From Hamilton to Melbourne to LA. That's what somebody I used to know will do for you, I guess. So what do we have here? Kimbra is with us. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
And do you know what I've enjoyed about you coming on this program, apart from, I mean, just your general presence? Is the entourage has grown with you. So when you when you won't remember this, but when you first came on, I think you probably turned up by yourself. And then a couple of people came in with you, and now here you are in from Los Angeles, and there's half a dozen people out there.
Oh, that's so funny.
At your beck and call.
Yeah, turning out with the gang, the full gang. Yeah.
And that's what's happened to your life, I guess, isn't it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Talk me through, first of all, does success bring you creative freedom? So you go get yourself a Grammy with a major international hit. Can you then go, I've arrived, so here's what I'm going to do? Or does it not work that way?
I think second album is an interesting one because, of course, for the artist, it's a moment to make a statement, kind of put out there what you're about, musically and lyrically. You want to, have a moment to say everything you've been wanting to say, but at the same time, it's a moment for you to commercially kind of set yourself up as well. And so it's always a dance, I find, that stage with making a record. I think I was very lucky with Warner Brothers that I had a lot of creative freedom. I was working with Lenny Waronker, who's signed Prince and also started up DreamWorks Records, Rufus Wainwright, Elliott Smith, and he was really understanding that this was an important record for me to kind of make my mark. And I feel like, I was really blessed to kind of explore the things that I wanted to do. Yeah,
you've got some serious musicians on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
People have worked with, Jackson, Madonna, big names.
Well, I had a lot of opportunities on this album, and I felt like this was the moment to make use of them. I did a lot of different, in the first album, I hadn't been so open to doing songwriting collaborations. On this one, I really was like, let's give it a try. There's so many people who are open to working with me. Let's jump right in. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. But it was that real, exploration process. And then when I found what worked, I guess I kind of locked down and decided, these are going to be the people, the sound sort of sculptors that are going to help me create this painting, I guess.
So you're driving this yourself. You've got a vision, because we'll talk about the name of the album, how that came about in a moment.
Sure.
But you've got the vision. So, or is somebody constantly coming to you going, this is where I see you, this is what you should look like, this is what you should sound like?
I think when you're unsure about your vision and you're all the time swinging from ideas, that's usually when someone will come in and tell you where to go. But when you do walk in with a clear idea of what you like, and even sometimes just what you don't like can be a really important thing, knowing in a songwriting session when it just doesn't work and being strong enough to say, look, we all want the same thing. We want a great record, and, Warner Brothers especially is about making timeless records that'll have longevity. And that's, I've always made that really clear to people I work with, that I'm not in this to just like shoot to the top and crash back down again. I really want to create albums that you listen to over and over and over again. So I think when you just make that really clear from the start, people do support you in that, I've found.
So you're sitting in Los Angeles, and yet not in Los Angeles as we would know it. You're on a farm in Los Angeles.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
And it's close to Los Angeles, you farm with your sheep.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from Hollywood.
And it's very rudimentary.
Yeah, it's, it's more like a life in New Zealand, actually. That's why it's quite funny, because I found myself on quite a whirlwind after the success with Gautier and, Vows being what it was. And I found I needed to ground again, center myself somewhere that would give me a sense of indifference, like people and animals that didn't care about your status or the awards you'd got. They were just, they just saw you for who you were. And that's what I found at this place. It was on Craigslist. The label had suggested some apartments or hotels. And I was like, please, I cannot take another hotel. So this just ended up being the right place.
But this had an outdoor kitchen, though.
Yeah.
You didn't
an outdoor kitchen. I woke up with a rooster. I'd get like chicken eggs from the coop and crack them open on cooking grills, which sat on tree stumps. And
you didn't want an indoor kitchen or something?
No, they have an outdoor kitchen.
There's nothing wrong with a lifestyle block, but you want like hot and cold running water and something inside to cook with.
Right.
I would have thought, but it was good for you.
And it was the weather, you wake up with the sun and you walk outside and you are instantly feeling sort of creative and connected.
It's true what they say about California, isn't it? In terms of lifestyle and feeling good about life, and
It takes a while to crack the place. You know, I really did a 180. I used to go there, Mike, and I would hate the place. Seriously. I found it so isolating and kind of soulless. I even remember writing a journal entry one night and being like, I will never live in Los Angeles. And I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, it's just so funny as, you know, you change and you grow up and you find a different side to the city.
So do you feel the pressure of this album? Because this is a statement album. From what I understand and have heard and read, it's a statement album. This is you. It's not an album of pop hits per se. It's a complex album. It's got a complex sound to it. It's a very individual sound. So presumably that's a statement on your part to say something to the world. Or am I overreading that?
I mean, I think it wasn't a big conscious approach that I went in to be like, I'm gonna make my, you know, it was really going into the studio and being like, I'm gonna embrace invention and imagination. You know, there was like a kid in a sandpit, you know, kind of putting the pieces together and being really excited about the music I was making and trying not to let the outside opinions, you know, come into the studio too much. I'm not unaware of them. You know, I wanted to make a pop record, and I feel there are moments on here that will connect on a broad level, but I just really enjoy the idea of an album that is coming from that place of imagination, and I think people will grow to love it for those reasons as they live with it.
The title, Golden Echo, comes from a
Actually,
dream.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Is that true? So that's a true story.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I definitely have had a few moments in my life where dreams have revealed quite intense things to me. It was just the words, actually, that were going round and round, and I was really intrigued by what they might have meant. So I went looking, you know, searching, and found this flower, which was called Narcissus Golden Echo. And it's said that in the Greek mythology of Narcissus, he dies by the lake and turns into this kind of flower. So it kind of revealed to me these two energies at work on the record. One, which was kind of about being very inward. And I mean, we live in a day and age that's probably more surrounded with projections of the self everywhere, you know, than ever. And so I feel like parts of the record explore that darker energy. And then on the other side, this idea of the golden echo, which to me is kind of symbolic of being drawn outside of yourself in some way, or being in tune with a frequency in the universe that kind of could be some kind of transcendence. And it's amazing that a simple thing like a flower kind of had all this depth and wisdom within it.
Very high production values too.
Thank you.
Very high production values. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
And is that you as well?
The photo shoot is very close to my heart. The whole thing was a very, inspired process. We went out to Joshua Tree, a very spiritual place, and a place that means a lot to me. I had some of my best friends on the shoot. We spent a long time really nutting out the intention of what we wanted people to feel when they saw these images. You know, we thought about a universe unbound by time and space. This hourglass has the grains of sand that are falling upward rather than down. And, you know, infinite possibility and imagination. We really wanted to evoke that. I think I find it sad that album artwork has kind of, I don't know, lost a bit of its value because we're all
That's my thing as well.
digital. Yeah.
That's my thing as in a downloadable world. All that's gone, hasn't it? The artistry, it doesn't have the same place it once did.
Digital booklet, but you know, I remember looking through my dad's vinyl collection and pulling out those Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd records and being like, man, this is, you know, it heightens the experience sonically to have such an amazing visual element attached. So I wanted to pay attention to those elements in this album as well. Everything to the website, to the, you know, to feel like it was part of its own little universe.
What's your family make of all of this? Not the album, but the whole thing, the whole ride. I mean, they must be stoked beyond measure.
They're very supportive. We talk all the time on Skype, and, you know, they're always there to offer advice, and it's cool. It's like they're a doctor and nurse, and I find that there's still a lot of parallels between our lives where we can relate to each other, you know? It's like my dad sees 30 patients at work a day or something, and I talk to interviewers all day, and we can talk it out together, like, yeah, you know? So I enjoy that it's kind of doesn't feel like completely disconnected worlds.
It's a very nice line in an article I read about you, once again referring to LA, and you just said you love LA, you cracked LA, so that's good. It says, she loves this town and it may one day love her back.
Ha!
Do you want that? Do you want people to love you back?
In Los Angeles?
Well, anywhere really.
Oh, look, I think, you know, I want the music to connect with people. You know, a great rewarding gift when you make a piece of art and you see people respond to it with a love that they return. But at the end of the day, I'm really focused at the moment on not trying to get too caught up in the outcomes of all this, because it's really the one thing I can't control. The only thing I really have control over is being there in the studio and creating a piece of art that I feel is authentically coming from my heart, and it feels like it embraces all those values you talked about: invention, imagination, and a good pop song. What happens after that? It's kind of like, I don't know. And somebody I used to know, for example, was a song that I thought was like, oh, that's a cool ballad. It'll be, a great song halfway through the album. Go to your record. And I mean,
and look what happened.
I just don't know anything.
Well, as I always say, you're welcome here anytime. And God knows how big the hangers on will be next time you come back. But I wish you all the very best. Lovely to see you again.
Thanks.